Hey everybody. Um, we've been talking about accessories, so this will be along those lines, but it's now May, and the fort is about to open up. It will open up as I'm making this recording tomorrow. But they have a big event that's occurring on following Saturday, so it'll be on the 10th. And that event is the taking of the fort by Ethan Allen. Now, that occurred at night, which is what's going to happen here. So that means that I'm going to be going into a venue, knowing very little about it at this point. Don't know what the lighting's going to look like. I don't know what the setup's going to look like. I know where it's going to be. I know there will be some lighting, but it's time for me to do my homework. When I go up to the fort this weekend, I'll need to discuss what the lighting's going to look like and things. I have a 2.8, and if I'm 22 feet away and I'm zoomed in on 70 millimeters, that'll give me a depth of field of 5 feet. So that'll mean that a good section will be in focus. Now, if you're not familiar with depth of field, it's a calculation that's based off of the f of your camera, how many feet, what your distance is away, and what the millimeters are that you're shooting with. So for example, if I were to take that and go wide angle with it, because it's a 28-70, at the wide angle, my depth of field is 66 feet. So if I'm even at a distance and I crank that thing all the way down to 28 millimeters, I am going to have a huge amount of that area in focus. So if I can be within 20 feet, I'm going to be good. Even at 30 feet, 30 feet is obscene. 30 feet's 2,000 feet of depth of field. But my important thing would be if I was at 30 feet at 70, now I'm starting to push it. Things are going to look a little bit on the small side. I've got a 9-foot depth of field. But if I have to go up to my zoom lens, which I think is a 5.6 to 7.1, and I use the 7.1 as the baseline, I'll have a 12-foot depth of field at 30 feet. So reasonable. But what we're not taking into consideration with depth of field is how much light's going to be coming in. Right? At 7.1, that's a smaller aperture. And that means that there'll be less light coming in, which means I'm going to have to put my ISO way up, because while the action won't be fast, there will be movement. And if I go down too far on the shutter speed, I'll get blurring. So that means I'm going to have to push the ISO up. So in this calculation, my F is fixed. I've either got the 4.8 or it's going to move based off of my 100 to 400. And I can't do much with the shutter speed. So the only thing I can play with here in the triangle is ISO. The higher the ISO, the grainier the photograph, the more work I'm going to have to do with it after the fact. It's just the way things are going to go. So I need to figure out what the lighting's going to look like. I do have a portable light meter that I can bring with me and get a feel for what that's going to be that night, but I'm not going to be able to get an idea of what it's going to be the day before. It's probably going to be that night. So while I might be able to get a little bit of stuff done for figuring out what the lighting is going to look like around the doorway, for example, at night, that night, I'm not going to have a lot of possibility otherwise. It's starting at 7. The sun will be setting relative to where I am in the background, but because it's inside the fort with the wall there, we will get a twilight type light. The sky will be lit. We won't have any of the sunlight hitting inside the fort at all at 7 p.m. And it goes till 10. So I've got a 3-hour window that I need to plan out what I can do, how I can take photographs. I even have to work out getting permission for a tripod, some way of, or just the monopod, some way for me to help stabilize the camera while I'm taking these photographs. And that I've got to get worked out this weekend too. So it's going to be a dual purpose busy weekend because it's opening day. So I've got all the coverage to do there as the volunteer photographer, but I also have to plan out what it's going to look like the following week so that I'm ready for that event and can go and take the photographs. Again, if you're an event photographer, the biggest thing that you need to do is plan out what you're going to take, where you're going to take it, and how you're going to take it. So you can go with the proper gear. Even if you've got some extra gear with you just in case, you don't want to carry your entire kit with you. And that may be impractical depending on how much movement you have to do and what your seating arrangement is going to be, because I'm going to be sitting in the stands. So I have to plan out quite a few things here so that A, I can get the photographs that I want, and B, I'm not intruding on anybody else. Now, it's possible that I could be someplace else other than the stands, might be floating around a little bit, but going with, if I were just there taking photographs outside of the role that I've taken on, then I would be sitting in the stands with a camera, and how would I handle that? So that's why I'm approaching it that way for you guys. If you were at the event, how would you handle it sitting in the stands with your camera? You would want to have a monopod or some way of stabilizing your camera. Now, bearing in mind, tripods are not going to work really well for this particular area, I don't think. In addition to that, I haven't seen the stands. In addition to that, the monopods may be a little tall. So you may need to have something a little bit different, but some way of stabilizing that camera. Not so much because of the shutter speed, although we can step that down a little bit to take care of the motion, but you don't want to worry about shutter and the shuttering of the vibration in the camera, and you don't want to worry about holding it up for lengths of time while you're taking the photographs as well. This is a 3-hour event. If there's 3 hours and you're sitting in the stands, that's a long time to be handling a camera and holding it up. So having something to both stabilize that camera and take that weight off of your arm and shoulders is going to be a good thing to bring with you. But that's what I got for you guys this week. If I come up with something new from the planning this weekend, I'll talk to you about it next week. But then next week we'll be back to more accessories. So I'll talk to you all then.